Welcome to the May Transit Report. Before we get into the actual transits of May, I want to really speak to the energy that is not leaving the building as I start this. And it's really a lot of tightness in my chest. It's like blockages in the heart. Some allergies. You could be having headaches or pressure in the face, specifically here and here is what I'm feeling, as well as pressure here. And again, lots of tightness in the chest that's spreading outwards into my shoulders. For many of you guys, this is within your bloodline. This is something generational. And for others, this is something that you are clearing when it comes to your own patterns and beliefs around what you can and can't have. But a lot of this has to do with money, finances, career, and materialism, like marketing and how we market businesses, how we consume. And before you scroll and you're like, I don't want to hear this, really hear me out on this, because I feel like a lot of what blocks some of you guys when it comes to your throat chakra, your truth, how you access abundance and what you want, is trying to be everything to everyone. And there's so much noise all of a sudden too. Like, I don't even know where this noise is coming from and out there, but this always happens like when there's something that I'm speaking on that you don't want to hear. I think there's also a lot of loudness here that clamors your ability to choose for yourself. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now that is kind of making things seem like, what I'm hearing specifically was like a masculine collective speaking about the feminine collective in the ethers. And I was getting this, like, I've never seen this kind of resilience before. And it was really loud fear coming from the masculine collective around the feminine strength right now and resilience in the face of what we're all seeing happen and unfold. And I do think there's an aspect of the feminine collective that is being pushed to their limits in some ways, and being pulled and kind of dragged back down. Like, you guys, there's like so much pressure for you to be everything to everyone, and also in being everything to everyone, I need you down here. I can't have you going up there. So some of you guys are in this push-pull effect right now that's really heavy. And before, like I said, before we get into the whole month, I really want you to think, as I'm talking about the month ahead, I'm recording this today on Friday the 2nd. So there's a moon in Cancer. Now, obviously, this is not posted on Friday the 2nd. So think back to where you were, or things that were coming up on Friday and Thursday, the 1st and 2nd of May, because that's when the moon was in Cancer. Jupiter is about to move into Cancer next month, the 9th of June. So our whole access to abundance and prosperity and expansion right now is so reliant upon your emotional stability, your ability to access your emotions, use them to create, and your ability to sustain your own emotions, hold your feelings, work through them. For a lot of you guys, because the moon is in Gemini, you're being pushed and pulled into emotions that aren't yours, or seeing things from new angles, right? And this is helping you with the expansion you're about to step into, but can you gear it back to what you're good at, who you are, what you want to do, what's aligned with you? That's the key right now. So we're going to approach the May transits from that perspective, and I want you to take note on that as we go through this month ahead. Now, the card that came out was the Death card, and last night I pulled the same thing, the Death card and the Star card. So Pluto and the Death, and Aquarius and the Star. So, or Scorpio as well, Scorpio and Pluto, and Aquarius in that Star card. So there's so much here around, we're setting you up for success. That's what the universe is saying. We're setting you up for success with everything that's happening right now. Can you see it? Can you look at your life from that angle? Because on Sunday, Pluto goes retrograde at 3 degrees Aquarius. 3 degrees is a Gemini degree. Life path 3s are going to be extra challenged. So, and those who have heavy Mercury placements or Gemini placements are going to be heavily challenged with this. I'm also hearing Virgo as well. Virgos might be heavily challenged by this as well. So think on that. What is it that you are trying to pursue in the long term? Try not to get upset about immediate results or not getting the immediate results that you're looking for. But in this economic climate, in this political climate, that is challenging. So we're going to look at the whole of May and see how that's setting us up for these next 20 years. But really the rest of this year. Verb confirmation. I think there's something very pivotal happening this month as well, spiritually, because remember, Pisces, the North Node, is a very spiritual sign. So there's something very spiritual at play. We're going to see a lot of closure during this time and throughout the rest of this North Node transit into next summer. We're going to see a lot of hidden things come to the surface. Not just publicly, right? Not just with other people, but within yourself, right? Aspects of yourself that you have been hiding from, that you have been fearing, that you have been holding back. And so again, lean into the challenges. So we have this huge pressure coming up with Pluto. And again, this is just going to, when you feel slowed down, what is it providing you? Can you push back from the fear of not getting what you need? Because that's one of the other big things that's coming up with the ancestral stuff. So if this sounds like something that you need assistance with and you're like, whoa, this is my problem, this is what I need help with, check out my Substack and my website. Subscribe to my Substack if you want to get updates on my classes, but I'm going to have a root chakra workshop to help you guys work through those ancestral challenges and to work through how to get rooted, how to work through those blockages around money and stability and fear and things like that. And I'm going to do that on the 17th. And then we're also going to have a root chakra / throat chakra masterclass on the 25th when Saturn goes into Aries. So either or, I would say if you missed the throat chakra class and you want to take that, or you wanted to take that, but you couldn't, that is probably the one you want to take, the root chakra with the throat. But if you're just looking to really go deeper into your shadow work through your fears, feels like those of you who have a lot of challenge around your insecurities as well, you might want to take that class. So anyway, heads up, that's going to be coming out and you should be able to find the ticket links in my bio shortly. So that's what I'm feeling when I talk about that, when I talk about the ancestral wounds, when I talk about the fear around money. There's a lot of insecurities that come up, but I would challenge you to ask yourself how much of it is you and how much of it is something that you have been taught. Excuse me. Yep. And it clears as I say that. Many of you guys have been taught to fear breaking conformity, to fear being different or weird, to fear challenging people, triggering people, or being the oddball. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is your key with Aquarius. So again, back to that Pluto in Aquarius, everything that is going to assist you is going to be in those things that make you unique and different. And you have to get into your own energy and emotions and expression in order to make that happen and align with that. So again, everything lining back up with the water energy, the air energy here. Get curious, lean into it, and don't run. Now, anything else you want me to say about that? Okay, the last thing they want me to say about that is upgrades. And again, we're going to go deeper. The reason why I'm trying not to go too deep into these things is because we're going to go deeper into each of these things as they come up. But there's going to be some activations. I've been channeling some Kundalini activations in the masculine collective, especially some men. There's a lot of men who are going to be getting Kundalini activations. But there's a lot of Kundalini activations coming through, which is going to really shift the way that you perceive the world. It's going to affect your body. There's going to be a lot of people going through dark nights of the soul. Again, take what resonates for you. It might be you, it might be other people around you. I have been hearing Negredo, which is, my goodness. Yeah, lots of fear. It is the alchemical term for dark night of the soul. Negredo. And so basically it's an initial step into the darkness to access more light. So basically the process of alchemy, right? You have to go into the shadows to access the light or to reveal the truth, right? And then anchor it in and manifest through it. So a lot of you guys are about to be stepping into that, or there's people around you stepping into that you're going to either, you guys are going to be like domino effects for catalysts for each other. Do you know what I'm saying? Because of quantum entanglement. So we'll go deeper into that in some of my messages throughout the month. Again, stay tuned by subscribing on my Substacks. I speak about all this stuff on there, as well as my TikTok live streams. Anything else? Lots of anxiety. That's the other reason why I'm teaching the root chakra class as well. And we'll be starting, so the journey of the chakras begins in the root. And I have a full chakra course. So right now we're going to be doing master classes on each chakra. So we're going to start with the root and then go from there. So I am going to have some specials. I'm going to be offering like a full season pass. If you're wanting to do all of the chakras, I'm going to have a full season pass. But all of this information, again, is going to get announced on my Substack, as well as my website and my app, which is available through my website. So check the links in bio, subscribe to my Substack if you want to stay tuned, and always stay tuned to my live stream on TikTok. So next week is when we have some big breakthroughs. Okay, so I feel this heaviness coming through now into next week, and it feels like by the 8th or 9th, the Libra moon on the 8th and 9th, I feel like there's going to be some huge shifts when it comes to, it feels like for some of you guys, the tables haven't turned in some situations and you're waiting for some kind of clarity on this, and that it feels like you can't release something. I feel the bladder meridians like flared up. It feels like you can't release something, like you've been trying to purge something, and there's this negative energy in your system and you're trying to release it and something won't let you go or something won't clear. We'll talk about that in my tarot reading. But for now, just that energy is on its way out, but it does feel like there's something that has to shift in terms of the quantum entanglement, and maybe also within your own perspective as we move through this Libra moon, that is going to clear up. It feels like by the 10th when Mercury moves into Taurus. Now, when Mercury moves from Aries to Taurus, obviously there's a lean on more groundedness in our communication, and it releases us from a bit of selfishness in our communication as well as a bit of aggression. So some of you guys, the whole thing that is holding you back in a bigger picture sense is that Aries energy, because Venus is in Aries right now. So some of you guys, like the way we're thinking or the way that we're communicating is very aggressive and very one track or one perspective. And some of you guys, this is working in your favor, as I spoke about in my live stream last night, Thursday night. I spoke about this from the perspective of some of you guys are being pushed to stand out, and you're used to either being the mediator, the one who smooths things over, or excuse me, some of you guys are clearing people-pleasing tendencies right now, and overcoming fear of upsetting people or triggering people with your views, and learning to speak out and express yourself and free yourself from those chains. So this is actually working in your favor. So again, try not to fear it and try not to see it as someone stopping me. How are you stopping you? Or how is this assisting you? Do you know what I'm saying? Look at this in a positive sense. Find that silver lining, because once we move into Mercury and Taurus on the 10th, things are going to get a bit smoother when it comes to the way you think. You'll be able to ground a little bit easier, and the way that you communicate will probably get through a little bit easier, because everyone's going to be in a little bit more of a calmer place in their thinking and communication. But the moon is in Scorpio, okay? And as we move through that Mother's Day on the 11th into the full moon in Scorpio on the 12th, Mercury squares Pluto. So that weekend, just because Mercury's moving into Taurus isn't going to be right, but as Mercury's in that transit in Taurus throughout the month, it is going to be calmer communication and thinking. But this could be a really heavily emotional weekend for a lot of you guys, especially if you have mother wounds. And that's something that I've been pulling up a lot for masculine collectives. And I would say for that is a completely non-gender binary situation. A lot of you guys are working through masculine structures within your ancestral line, if not within your own way of producing and stepping up and being disciplined and focusing. And there is a mother wound that is kind of interfering with that, or plays a huge part in that process. There's a lot around self-worth and worthiness wounds here as well, that a lot of you guys are going to be healing, is what I'm feeling. Things that cut you off from the heart space and keep you from connections in your life as well right now. So yeah, okay, there's a fire truck in the background is what I'm hearing. There could be some really heightened intense moments during this full moon, during this release. But what it brings you into, Mercury opposing Lilith here, we've got some masculine nostalgia on the 13th as the moon moves into Sagittarius. We have this pressure to see your sensuality and your sexuality, as well as your autonomy, especially your feminine side, autonomy, through a new lens. Okay, so some of you guys are going to have, like, especially the women here, you're going to have nostalgia with masculine energies, or you're going to feel, there's going to be a lot of nostalgia from the masculine collective onto you. Okay, so those of you who are more feminine naturally, you could be feeling a lot of exes who are masculine. You could feel like father wounds and stuff like that in very nostalgic energy. You could have weird dreams. It just feels like that energy is going to be coming up very heavily. So again, I'm going to say this full moon energy is going to be very pressurized on the 11th and 12th, and then start to kind of reveal and bring clarity, like to kind of bring it full circle on the 13th and 14th while the moon moves into Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is all about the long-term journey and the adventure of the journey and the process. So try not to get pulled into any X's during that time. I will say that. Try not to get pulled into your ex is coming back, because this is a moment of clarity, okay, not a return to your past. So as we move into the 15th, the moon is in Capricorn, okay? Jupiter is going to be squaring the North Node. We have this aspect of accessing mothering energy within ourselves, but be mindful of how much others are drawn to that. This is going to be a moment of foreshadowing to the month ahead as well. Remember, Jupiter in Gemini is about curiosity. Jupiter in Cancer is going to be all about the way we love ourselves and how that helps us expand. The way our love helps us expand, the way our emotional body and the way we use our emotions helps us expand and attract abundance, right? So this Jupiter squaring the North Node on the 15th is going to help reveal the things that hold us back. And it's also going to give us glimmers of hope into the future and keys to how to use Jupiter in Cancer. So use that Jupiter transit from that perspective. You could feel some emotional fears come up during this time. You could feel some anger come up during this time. For some of you, this is going to be perceived anger, perceived attachment that other people have to you, and ways in which your energy is used against you. So if you love really hard, this could be a time that you feel used. If you give a lot, this could be a time that you start to see all the ways in which you're not receiving in return for that love. A lot of heaviness there around worthiness, not just from you, but the people who might use you for love. And again, maybe not use you, intentionally use you, but you are loved for them. And then it's one of those things that, we're learning boundaries through this. We're learning how to better self-care through this. We're learning how to transmute with creativity and art through this. We're learning how to express ourselves more clearly to get our point across and to make sure that we're all on the same page through this, right? And we're also learning deep worthiness, sense of worthiness, sense of belonging, and how to express ourselves and operate in that energy. Give yourself some time through this weekend. It feels like we have the sun joining with Uranus in Taurus there. I'm not sure what degree that is on the 17th. But again, this is going to help reveal some key traits around how you're meant to stand out, rebel, do something different, break conformity, right? So again, use what's happening on the 15th with that Jupiter transit in tandem with what happens on the 17th to help you bring new ideas to the table, work towards new projects. And I'm seeing someone hit the ground running. I feel like things are going to hit the ground running very soon, if not around this time. On the 18th, though, we have 4 transits hitting all at once while the moon's in Aquarius. Jupiter sextiles Chiron, okay, which again, that's our deepest wound working with Jupiter. Another foreshadowing moment for a lot of you guys. Jupiter squaring the North Node. So how do your childhood issues challenge your future path or your path of purpose, your aligned path? The North Node semi-sextiling Chiron. So again, all of that coming together. And then the Mercury squares Mars. Okay. As the death card falls on the ground. So confirmation, this is all about death. What did I just accidentally touch here? 2, 7 of Swords. Oh, okay. How do you deceive yourself when it comes to the burdens that you hold and carry? I will say this, when it comes to this, how does the outside world deceive you? And then how do you deceive yourself in the way that you see burdens, in the way that you hold your burdens, in the way that you take others' burdens on and feel that you're responsible for them? Your obligations, your priorities, and your boundaries are going to be the 3 main things that you want to focus on when it comes to whatever you're healing on the 18th, okay? So the 18th, big kaboom moment, okay? But it really does start with that full moon in Scorpio, bringing in, that clarity around the love on the 15th, the rebellion on the 17th, and then the kaboom on the 18th, okay? Then on the 20th, the sun moves into Gemini. Gemini season begins. When I speak on this, I feel a lot of water energy coming in, and the energy of authentic alignment. So it does feel like around the 20th, you guys are going, that's probably when you hit the ground running, okay? I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's like, okay, I'm going to say you're going to start to feel it around the 17th, but then the 20th, it's it feels like a lot of you guys, especially the feminine collective, is going to feel like you're in control of your life in a way that you haven't felt in quite some time. And this is going to feel really good. So use this and don't overthink anything, okay? I'm going to like reiterate that. Do not overthink anything that challenges you, because on the 22nd, the moon is going to be in Aries. We have Venus trining Mars, and the sense of you making people feel small. And I think you might not see this because the North Node being in Pisces, okay, and your awareness is growing at this time, and it's continued to grow and will continue to grow. You will not see how you hitting the ground running and moving forward in your life is intimidating the people around you. And I get specifically the masculine collective, because what I channeled, she's making me feel small. She is making me feel small. So the masculine collective, I feel like, is going to be especially challenged and intimidating during this time. Don't take anything personally. A lot of you guys, again, the divine feminine energy rises within the Kundalini, right? And it falls to purge, denser energies through the masculine channel. Okay, so the masculine falls, right? So a lot of you guys, you are a part of an awakening process here, and you're challenging someone else or many other people to grow. So see it from that angle and don't take it personally. Then on the 23rd, Mercury sextiles the North Node. So again, just reiterating how you think and express yourself. Mercury joins with Uranus on the 24th. Again, bringing in that rebellion aspect to how you use your voice and how you think. So let that weekend between the 22nd into the 24th help you access new ways of communicating and thinking about the challenges at hand. Then on the 25th, Saturn enters Aries. So we're going to take a second to talk about this one, because this is going to challenge the solar plexus. This is going to challenge pride and control and the voice for many people. Why? That's funny. Back on 74 is playing in the background. Some of you guys, as you step into this, just remember Saturn has been in Pisces for quite some time now, and it has challenged us through some really heavy years of really working through who we are when the North Node was in Aries, and now moving into the North Node in Pisces, and it being right next to Pisces and where Neptune was. Those all together, it has challenged our perception. Like, karma has been so focused, and our restrictions have been so focused on how we see things and our perception, the illusions present there. So when Saturn moves into Aries, if we haven't figured out the illusions, they're gonna get really heavy in Aries. I will say also, if you haven't been focusing on the bigger picture, Saturn in Aries is going to trigger the hell out of you when it comes to getting what you want when you want it. Like, I have to be very careful how I say this, but I will say this is going to trigger the hell out of people who were used to getting what they want very easily. This is going to be one of those times when karma is going to be so focused on the fight or flight response, the underlying issues that keep you from fully being yourself. So I would say it will challenge people who wear a mask. Heavy on that one. It will challenge people who wear a mask. It will challenge people who have a closed third eye, who have a limited perception of the world, who feel that they have to operate out of a specific way, a way of control in order to access what they need. That one. So these are all things that really come from a limited sight and not seeing the bigger picture. It feels like that is going to be triggering the hell out of some people. So if it's not you, it might be some people around you. Your feminine energy is so needed during this time because this is also, remember, Aries is ruled by Mars, which is the planet of war and masculinity, and this is going to be heavily challenging the masculine collective. So if you didn't think that they were already triggered, they're really going to be triggered during this Saturn in Aries. It just feels hot all of a sudden. My air conditioning just came on. It just gives me the sense that, that cooling effect of the feminine channel in the Kundalini is going to be so important. That need for more feminine energy, that need to, operate from the intuition, to follow your gut, to trust yourself, and to see through the illusions of restrictions and things that don't happen on the time that we feel we need them to happen. And again, I feel like this is coming up a lot with the current events, right? These are the things that we really need to start leaning into. Because with the current events, we have so much pressure around what's happening that it's making us feel like we need to secure things. We need to have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G set up. We need to have all of our ducks in a row, right? And this is going to challenge that heavily and make challenges to push you into that feminine energy. That essentially helps you access what? The first house of self that rules Aries. It's going to help you access you in your essence, in your true essence, in your authenticity, to step into that, to own it, and to hold it. But that requires you to be less tied in your sense of self to the world around you. So if ever there was a time when you felt you needed to, hold on. Excuse me. Okay, lots of energy clearing from the, I would say dense energy, negative energy clearing from the feminine channel with that. I would say feminine energy is often, when surrounded by toxic masculinity, feel that they need to fit in, dim themselves historically, right? Take it how it resonates for you with your ancestral, with your bloodline, with you personally, and your history. But historically speaking, when things get scary, and I will give you an example of this in just a second, when things get scary or when things get intense or when crisis happens, the feminine energies tend to assimilate, tend to dim themselves, tend to hide more, and I would say fall into more of like a fawn response. And so I would, again, this is like a bigger, like across the board, right? Not everyone, but this is something that I feel a lot of you guys are going to be purging, is these fears and things that aren't true for you when fear sets in, right? Letting go of, those patterns of things that you run to when you feel unsafe. And it's going to help you shift into a truer nature, a more aligned nature, and it's going to help open new doors. So one example of this was they were giving me a lot of, messages about the Irish famine, right? And I was getting messages about that on a ancestral level, and what the women, and I'm not going to go into the details of the stories that I got and things like that, because again, it's more my own personal ancestry, right? But what the women had to do during that time to feel safe. And it really opened my eyes to some things that I didn't see within white culture and like how that trickled down. And I was like, wow, that's insane. So anyway, just kind of look into your ancestry as well during this time. And we're going to be doing that is the day that we're going to be doing my root chakra and throat chakra manifestation workshop, alignment and manifestation workshop. So we're going to be doing some healing on the root and ancestral stuff, as well as throat stuff. So helping you separate from your ancestral blockages in order to come into yourself, helping you identify them, and helping you to reveal who you are, and to help you heal those things and also step into more alignment. So that's going to be happening on the 25th. If you are interested in that and want more assistance, if you feel these things block you, check out my website and go get your tickets. I'm going to have early bird prices up as well. So okay, so this is going to be a huge transit, okay? And this is only the beginning. And again, this is something that, you know, I think this is going to be a game changer for some people. And some of you guys have literally prepared, you've been prepared for this transit to happen. So the only thing that can get in your way is your own mind, okay? The only thing to fear is fear itself. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff is only going to attune you, right? To refine you, to bring you into alignment. So don't fear it. Because again, a lot of you guys are already prepared for this to happen. But, you know, again, if you see a lot of challenge around you, it's, you know, one of those human nature things where we find ourselves tripping and falling into those challenges around us if they're louder than our own, right? And then we become the challenges outside of us. So again, stand in who you are. Then on the 26th, we have a Gemini moon, and Mercury enters Gemini. So again, we're having a lot of Gemini energy line up around this time. Gemini placements, you guys are in for a treat. I really do feel like, again, this is just adding more and more and more to who you are and helping you access that. But again, I do feel some challenges still coming up here, specifically around the sacral. Stomach, I'm hearing mother wounds. I think a lot of this is going to be really focused on mother wounds, and also resourcefulness, poverty mindset, lack mindset, and how the two are tied. So some of you guys, it's like you might even be realizing that some of your perspectives on lack come from a lack of love from a mother wound, or how that could be passed down ancestrally. So be mindful of that aspect. Mercury is also going to be sextiling Saturn and Neptune. So again, heavy focus on illusions as well as karma as they relate to masculine energy and discipline, structure, and aggression and war. Then on the 27th, Mercury will be trining Pluto. So again, a big focus on communication here, from a new aspect, because remember, Mercury just moved into Gemini, from a new aspect. And it's going to be a big death and rebirth moment. I feel like whatever's been kind of like gearing up from that 22nd through that Saturn in Aries, and then Mercury in Gemini transit, is going to come to a head and bring more clarity. I'm going to take a second to breathe here because it does feel like the energy is really heavy. They're showing me a wristwatch. Oh, okay. And they're showing me, I saw a meme last night of somebody talking about the watches from Burger King that had the Rugrats on them in the 90s. And then I just saw on the TV like an advertisement for Good Burger from Nickelodeon. So it reminds me of the 90s kids. I feel like this is going to be a very nostalgic time. I feel like also you could be there could be something coming up from the 90s about who you are, that helps you, align further into your path as well, into your future path. There also could be some swapping. Okay, I'm serious. They're saying something about swapping perspectives. If there were people in your life during that time that affected your perspective heavily. So again, think back on the 90s, and I would say this, anywhere in the 90s, but specifically the beginning of the 90s, 1990, because there are heavy transits dealing with 1990 here, okay? Dating back to 1990. There's going to be something about how, like, where you lost yourself in a situation coming up here. And I feel like there's something as well around, hold on. Some of you guys could have I'm hearing like a blackout moment here. No, don't take that the wrong way. Blackout within Kundalini. So you might go into a bit of a portal here. Just heads up for those of you who are in a new Kundalini awakening or activation. There can be a portal here that's happening, and almost like a void space that happens. But use it to your advantage, okay? Work with it. You're swimming. It feels like someone's swimming in like Pluto, deep, deep ocean, into the deeper aspects of your psyche here. And I think when you see that, you'll come up for air is what I'm getting. Yeah. So some of you, I feel like if you have a moment around the 27th, in that last week of May, where you feel like things are like, you go into a dark part of the night, dark night of the soul, or you go into a void space. It feels like the third eye is blocked there for a second for some of you guys. How is what you're experiencing revealing deeper aspects of your psyche? We'll go deeper when it comes in this week. But again, this leads us up to on the 28th and the 29th. A Cancer moon, again, a week or so, or 2 weeks before we go into Jupiter and Cancer. So again, use this for the access point of you, deeper aspects of you, deeper aspects of your emotional body. They're showing me Santa Claus. I do feel like some of you guys are going to be getting gifts during this time, especially spiritual gifts. There could be big rewards coming in for you in a tangible sense as well. Some of you guys could be getting a lot of abundance during this time. And they're showing me, okay, so I saw a meme the other day as well, where there was a clownfish that was looking at a mirror, and it says, I have nothing, or I don't have a lot to who I am. And it's like the clownfish is only looking at himself from this view, and it's, of course he's like skinny thing, right? And from the side, he has all this color and design on his body, right? And so there's something about the angle that you're looking at things from. Zoom out and see it from a new angle, or try to see it from someone else's view. And some of you guys, this could be a little bit of a when it comes to there we are. There it is. There it was. The mind swapping that I just spoke of. You don't see yourself is what I'm getting. Or if you haven't been able to see yourself through other people's eyes, it feels like you might have a moment of seeing that. So some of you guys, this could trip you up, and for others, this could actually like be a very glorious moment. This could be a very beautiful moment for you. Anything else? A deep father moment, specifically for the masculine collective when it comes to your truth. Okay. Deep healing around the father. Or you could even have men in your life, like fathers healing, but you could see them healing, or something that happens could trigger that healing. But for many of you, what I'm getting is really has to do with the throat. So some of you guys who are more masculine by nature, or going through this masculine Kundalini activation, could really be healing your truth and your authentic vibration through healing a father wound during this time. They're saying that is it for now. So that is the May transit. And anything real quick as we get into June. No, the first transit in June really hits on the 6th. So Venus entering Taurus on the 6th of June. So again, things are going to really kind of like, it feels like very heavy throughout the month of May, like lots and lots and lots of stuff coming in. And then calms down around the 28th, or gives you that more of that peaceful, quiet moment. So expect some things to really begin to integrate for some of you guys through the 28th and into June until the 6th, when things pick back up or shift a little bit with Venus moving into Taurus. But also expect some fears to be happening through this time as well. So again, use that time to focus on your Cancer energy, to focus on your emotional body and your intuition. I hope this helped you guys. Take care and be on the lookout for my classes and workshops this month. And news to come, any new updates that I have on my Substack, go ahead and subscribe, link in bio. See you soon.